In the bustling heart of Los Angeles, a seemingly ordinary elevator ride between two young actors would soon spiral into a mystery that left an entire city on edge. The young girl riding in the elevator with her boyfriend was never seen again. Soon, her friends panic and an active investigation begins, but let's start over. The aspiring model and actress, 25-year-old Adeya Shabani, was born and raised in Macedonia. From an early age, the young woman dreamed of becoming a star. After finishing school, she moved to France, where she received a higher education at a Parisian management university. During her studies in Paris, Adeya made at least one trip to America. In a 2012 photograph, she is seen posing with Kanye West at a Las Vegas nightclub. In 2014, after graduating from university, the young woman moved to Dubai, where she took up a job in a jewelry store. Adeya quickly realized that she wanted more from life. In 2016, she moved to Hollywood, Los Angeles, a place where talented people come to fulfill their dreams of becoming global stars. On her Facebook page, Adeya posed next to a giant poster of a starry sky. She captioned this photo, "I am going to become a completely different star." She rented a small, cozy apartment and completely redecorated it. There were always fresh flowers in her home, and posters of stars adorned the walls. Shabani listened to Drake and Beyoncé. Among actors, she admired Leonardo DiCaprio the most and dreamed of starring in a movie with him. In 2016, Adeya enrolled in Stella Adler's acting school. The petite, blue-eyed, blonde beauty, Adeya Shabani, looked like a real starlet. By 2017, she was offered a role in a short action film called All or Nothing. Adeya happily agreed and excelled in the role of a waitress. Soon after filming, she received another job offer. This time, Shabani took part in a comedy titled Stuck in the 80s, where she played an episodic role of a hippie teenager. Everyone knew her as a decent, responsible girl who never missed classes without a valid reason. But on February 26, 2018, when Adeya Shabani didn't show up for school and stopped answering calls, her friends grew worried and called the police to check her apartment. The friends said that Adeya spent most of her time on social networks. She never let go of her phone and could text multiple people at once. However, starting from Friday, February 23rd, she was not seen on social networks, and she did not appear in class on Monday, February 26th, even though they had an important lesson where the teacher was assigning main roles. The police responded quickly to the call and went to Shabani's apartment that same day. The door was unlocked and the rooms were tidy. The police found an open, working laptop. Everything looked as if Adeya had just left the apartment for a short while and planned to return soon. The police checked the CCTV footage in the apartment building and discovered footage showing Adeya Shabani in the elevator around noon on Friday, February 23rd. She wore a baseball cap, and her hands were filled with 2 suitcases. A man was in the elevator with her, and friends recognized him. It was 33-year-old Christopher Spotz, with whom Adeya had been romantically involved. He also wore a baseball cap that concealed his face. Kreis came to the girl's apartment at 12:48. At 12:50, they were together in the elevator. Immediately after that, Adeya's phone was turned off. The last text message the girl sent to her friend after leaving the elevator was with a question. Where could she buy red candles? Kreis and Adeya met at acting school. The man was also studying at Stella Adler's. None of the teachers or classmates knew that Chris and Adeya had serious relationships. The couple kept everything a secret, and the others thought they were just friends. The police tracked down Christopher and spoke to him. The man confirmed that he was with Adeya on Friday, February 23rd, and took her from the apartment. They were planning a trip to his father's house in Northern California. However, on the way, they had a fight. He kicked the girl out of his car in the Santa Clarita area, 40 kilometers from her home. He hadn't seen or called her since. Chris stated that he knew nothing about Adeya's disappearance. The police began to collect information about the life of Christopher Spotz. It was known that the man was born in Colorado in 1984. His parents divorced. Chris had 3 brothers and a sister. His mother, Jade, found a new man. In 2017, the woman ran for the local city council. Both mother and stepfather dedicated their lives to public service, and considered it the most important purpose of life. Chris's biological father lived in a village in Northern California. Chris Spotz studied psychology at the University of Colorado, graduated in 2009, moved to Los Angeles to realize his dream of becoming an actor. Chris had a YouTube account where he uploaded his acting performances. From 2014 to 2018, Spotz participated in the filming of 4 short films and 1 documentary. However, none of his roles were leading. The man was of short stature, but had a good fit shape. He was fond of martial arts, volleyball, and yoga. Adeya and Chris started dating in September 2017 after a joint rehearsal of a scene from Shakespeare. The girl felt that Chris was a good, promising actor and fell in love with him. Adeya knew that Chris had another girl, and he even proposed to her. By that time, Christopher had been dating a nurse, Mary Elmalog, for several years, who lived and worked in Los Angeles. She knew nothing about her fiancé's new romance. Adeya confessed to a close friend that she loves drama and doesn't mind participating in a love triangle. After all, she's a future star, and she needs a rich life experience. After the girl disappeared and Chris was interrogated on March 1st, he and his fiancée Mary got into a Toyota Tacoma car and left Los Angeles. They went to Colorado to Chris's mother and stepfather. The search intensified when Shabani's mother flew in from Macedonia to Los Angeles. She, together with volunteers, pasted Hollywood streets with flyers with information about the missing daughter and announced a reward of $25,000. At some point, the investigation into the girl's disappearance led the police to a lake in the Woods Reserve in Nicholas, California. On March 10th, dozens of volunteers searched this reserve, but found nothing. On March 16th, Adeya Shabani turned 26, but none of her close ones still knew where she was and who was to blame for her disappearance. When the police could not confirm Christopher Spotz's alibi, they began to suspect that he was withholding important information from them. The police obtained a warrant to search his car. They alerted other states to immediately locate Spotz's car. His Toyota Tacoma was spotted on March 22nd in San Bernardino, California. Christopher was driving on the road, and when the police signaled him and demanded him to stop, he only sped up and tried to escape. A real car chase ensued. The police pursued him for almost 100 kilometers and finally caught up. The officers tried to make the man get out of the car, but within a few seconds, he pulled out a gun and shot himself in the head. He died instantly. It is known that at that moment, Christopher was not alone in the car. The identity of the second passenger is not officially disclosed. The police could no longer interrogate Spotz about Adeya Shabani, who still could not be found anywhere. And just 5 days later, on March 27th, thanks to the data from Christopher Spotz's mobile phone and information about the movement of his car, the girl's body was found. She was lying in a shallow pit by a stream in the Sierra Nevada mountains, Northern California, hundreds of kilometers from her apartment in Hollywood. She was identified only the next day by her tattoos and teeth. Her death was ruled a homicide. Forensic experts determined that Adeya Shabani died from a blunt force trauma to the head. No other serious injuries were found on her body. According to mobile phone data, detectives found out that Adeya and Chris's relationship was not stable. They often quarreled. In late December 2017, the couple finally broke up, but by January, Adeya and Chris were back together. Close friends of Shabani said that Chris had proposed to Adeya, the girl agreed and had already started planning the wedding ceremony. About 6 weeks before Adeya's disappearance, Christopher Spotz uploaded a dramatic monologue to YouTube. It sounded like a confession to a murder. Here are the words from his monologue. "If I took a gun and killed you, my life would be returned to me." Chris and Adeya's relationship continued to develop rapidly. In early February 2018, several weeks before the girl's disappearance, the couple decided to move in and live together. They even filled out an application to rent a 2-bedroom apartment and were supposed to move there on March 1st. One of Shabani's friends said that Adeya confessed to her that she might be pregnant with Chris, but she had not yet seen a doctor. And a few days later, on Valentine's Day, Chris celebrated the holiday with both of his fiancées. He had lunch with Mary during the day, while he spent the evening with Adeya at a fancy restaurant. They had several glasses of wine each, and then went to her apartment. There, A fight broke out between the couple, and Kreis tried to strangle her. Adeya lost consciousness. When she came to, she was lying on the bed and her phone was gone. She tracked its location via her laptop and found out that the phone was at Christopher's house. The couple met again, and Kreis insisted that he hadn't touched her. He claimed that she had drunk too much and lost consciousness at the restaurant. Shabani told this story to her ex-boyfriend. Over the next few days, Adeya and Kreis fiercely argued about his ongoing relationship with Mary. They were constantly fighting and quarreling. In their correspondence, Kreis accused her of trying to attack him with a knife. Adeya, on the other hand, accused him of hitting her and stealing her expensive watch. And on the evening of the argument, Adeya sent Mary a message asking to meet and talk. On February 21st, Kreis and Adeya were planning to go to the cinema. On the way, someone called the man, after which he said that he had just received terrible news. His uncle in Sacramento had died of a heart attack. Kreis left. Adeya, having said goodbye to him, found that her phone was gone again. She came home, turned on her laptop, and wrote about it to her mom on social media. The night before the girl's disappearance seemed unremarkable. Kreis and Adeya spent the evening with her friends. During the conversation, a friend suggested they go to Mexico, but Adeya declined and reported that Kreis's uncle had died and they were forced to go to his funeral over the weekend. However, according to Kreis's biological father, it turned out that his uncle had never had a heart attack. The man was alive and well. Kreis's father said that his son came home alone at 7 p.m. on February 23rd. He was in a good mood and the father didn't notice anything strange in his son's behavior. Nevertheless, that evening they had a serious argument. Kreis began to blame his father again for abandoning the family and not taking a proper part in his upbringing. After the argument, Kreis got in the car and left to spend the night in a hotel. On February 25th, Kreis talked to a friend on the phone and reported that he had last seen Adeya on Friday, February 23rd. He dropped her off from the car during an argument, and she told him in parting that he would never see her again. The case of Adeya Shabani was closed. Her lover, Christopher Spotz, was found guilty. Shabani's relatives had a lot of questions left. How and why did their Adeya die, and most likely they will never get an answer. Thank you for watching this video to the end. What do you think of this story? Share your opinion in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel if you like true crime stories. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.